The last text, it was nearly midnight when Emma sat down on her couch, the glow of her phone screen lighting up her tired face. She'd just finished a long day of work, and the quiet of her apartment felt like the calm before a storm. There was no one around, just her, the flickering TV in the background, and the dull hum of the city outside her window. She was alone, poor, or so she thought. Her phone buzzed suddenly, and she glanced at it without much thought. A message had just come through from her own phone number. "I'm outside." Her heart skipped a beat. She had never been one to jump at shadows, but this was strange. She had been sitting here alone, hadn't heard any footsteps, or seen anything out of place. It's probably just a prank, she reasoned. Her fingers hovered over the screen. Maybe it was one of her friends, joking around, or some kind of automated message she had forgotten about. From her own number. Her eyes darted to the window. The street lights outside cast long, ghostly shadows down the alley. No sign of anyone who would send this kind of message. Maybe it's just a glitch, she thought, shaking her head. She typed a response quickly, trying to keep things light. Very funny. Who is this? For a moment, there was nothing but silence. She stared at her phone, waiting for a reply, but nothing came. Her fingers itched to delete the text, but there was something unsettling about it, almost like a curiosity she couldn't shake. Minutes passed. The house was unnervingly quiet. The only noise, the low hum of the fridge, and the occasional shuffle of her own breath. She couldn't ignore the strange sensation growing in her chest, a growing dread she couldn't place. Then her phone buzzed again. A second message. "I'm right outside your door." Her stomach twisted. She quickly jumped to her feet and rushed to the window, peering out into the dark. No one was there. Her pulse quickened. This has to be some kind of sick joke, she told herself. But why was she feeling so unsettled? She took a step back and headed to the door. Her hand hovered over the lock. Something was off, but it was late, and it was probably just some kids playing a prank. But before she could make up her mind, her phone buzzed again. I see you." Her heart nearly stopped. This isn't funny anymore. She glanced around, scanning her apartment. The room felt claustrophobic, and the silence was overwhelming. She was about to call the police when she heard it softly at first, barely audible. A knock at the door. Knock, knock. Her breath caught in her throat. The knocking was faint, rhythmic, like the sound of fingers tapping against wood. It grew louder, more insistent. Emma's mind raced. She hadn't heard anyone approach, hadn't seen anyone through the peephole. She hadn't heard footsteps. But there it was, someone was standing on the other side of the door. The knocking continued. Knock, knock, knock. Louder, faster. Now. "Don, open it." "Don't open it," she thought. But her curiosity was too powerful, too overwhelming. Her trembling hand reached for the doorknob. She called, her voice shaky. No answer. Just the knocking. Knock, knock. Without thinking, she flung the door open. But there was no one there. Nothing. Just the empty hallway of her apartment complex. The dull hum of distant voices echoing from the other rooms. Her breath came out in a shaky laugh. Nerves frayed. It was all just in my head, she told herself. She started to close the door, but then something caught her eye. A small, crumpled piece of paper on the floor, just outside her door. It hadn't been there before. She bent down to pick it up, her hand still shaking. The paper was scribbled with a single line in jagged handwriting. You shouldn't he have opened the door. A cold chill crept up her spine, but she couldn't stop herself from looking around the hallway, half expecting to see someone lurking in the shadows. She backed into her apartment, locking the door behind her with a snap. Her heart was pounding a tight knot in her chest. She grabbed her phone, quickly scrolling through the messages. There had to be some explanation. A joke, a prank, something. But then her blood ran cold. The last message had changed. The message now read, I'm inside. A cold gust of air brushed her face, and she spun around to see her front door creak open, just slightly, though she was sure she'd locked it moments ago. Suddenly, the sound of breathing filled the room. Low, labored, like someone was standing right behind her. Emma froze. Slowly, she turned her head, but there was no one there. Only the air, thick with tension. Then the door to her bedroom slammed shut. A loud crash echoed through the apartment. Her heart pounded as she rushed toward the bedroom, pushing the door open. Inside, the room was completely dark. Emma flicked on the light, expecting to find someone lurking there. But the room was empty. Everything was exactly as it had been before, except on the bed was a figure, slumped, lifeless, face down. Emma's breath caught in her throat. She slowly approached, her mind racing. As she turned the body over, she froze. It was her. It was her own face, panned, and in the dead silence, her phone buzzed one last time. I'm still outside.